Yo, what's good, chat? It's your boy Luke, man, and today I actually want to talk a little bit about developing new techniques, such as alternate picking, amongst others. But yeah, specifically alternate picking, of course. And if you've been looking into alternate picking for a long time, you've had a problem with it for a long time, you can check out the link in the description. Just for you, Johnny, I made a completely for free mini course. It's about an hour long. It's everything I've ever learned about alternate picking, and to be frank, that's a lot of things. So yeah, that's all there for you. You can crack into it, but you can also enjoy this free value with the video. Not that the course isn't free as well. It's a free course too. Anyway, so yeah, let's crack into it. I've been working on a new technique, isolating just these pick strokes here, using my thumb as well as my index finger to make pick strokes happen. You know, this is called like scalpel picking or thumb picking or circle picking, I've heard it called, and it's really difficult to do. It looks like this. Yeah, so it sounds a little bit lame at the moment in my opinion, but it's bringing up memories I had developing alternate picking in the first place. Like for instance, when I pick, I use my wrist, and there's like 4 different fulcrums you can pick from. So Pete Townsend is here. Using his shoulder, right? That's probably the biggest fulcrum that we can use to pick from. The next one is your elbow. This is more like a Zach Wilde sort of thing. I don't know how he does that, dude. I don't know how he mutes so well while picking like that, but he does. And then what I've been using for a long time is my wrist. Recently I showed someone you could take a credit card or you could take a pen and put it between your thumb and index on your other finger and just try to keep going back and forth as quick as you can. And that's kind of like the technique, you know. And then it's a long time between that and applying that to the guitar and doing it with any sort of accuracy and control, right? It takes a lot of control to decide how many notes you're going to tremolo pick, for instance, on a lick like... By the way, that's a little excerpt from an Ex Mortis tune, Death to Tyrants. Anyways, I get a little bit sidetracked here, but the reason I brought that up is because I'm trying to develop this technique and simultaneously practicing that song. And I was thinking, oh, you know, I can do that, you know, and play this technique. I was very wrong. You know, I had to revert to the technique I've been using for a long time now, a lot of years. And it just got me thinking, like, I would show people this idea as an example. I would say, you know, move your wrist like that, and then see if you could bring it to a string, you know? So it's like here. You know, just for fun, and see if you can make that happen. And then obviously, it's going to take a little bit more control to play a, you know, scale. It takes a little bit more control, and so I was just kind of remembering that process while I'm thinking, okay, well, I got to do that with just this hand alone, but it got me thinking for people who are just getting going with their wrist, maybe it would be helpful to know. Sometimes you don't go straight to the solo that you've been trying to carve out, whether it's some sick like Yngwie Malmsteen solo, or maybe that's not the first thing you go to. Instead, you're playing like on just one string. And I think for one string, you can play 3 notes in a row. Yeah, obviously I'm embellishing that. I'm going off a little bit as I get bored, but yeah, that's a good place to start on. Even before that, you could start on just like one string. You know, if you know how to use a metronome and you know what a subdivision is, you can take 16th notes or even sextuplets. Sorry, getting distracted again. But anyway, yeah, it starts on just like one string, and then I remember watching Paul Gilbert playing, just burning through these 3 note per string scales. And understanding, okay, that's pretty cool, you know, and maybe that's something that I can work up to being able to do as well. Because when you do that, you have to confront this whole idea where your wrist, you know, you can't hover over a pick with your wrist forever. You know, you have to keep moving at some point. And that point is going to be when you switch strings. So like maybe 1, 2 strings, maybe even 3, possibly you could stay in the same spot, but eventually you're going to need to move your wrist to continue. And what I've noticed from analyzing my picking technique over time is that I have a little bit of elbow action as my wrist moves down. And so I was trying to uncover, like, how am I going to do that for this scalpel picking technique? And I was thinking, hey, you know what? I'm just going to develop it around 2 strings. I'm going to develop it on 1 string, and maybe even get this lick, like this one in particular. I noticed that lick is really heavy on string changing. You have a whole combination of string changes. So it starts with 3 notes on 1 string and 1 note on 1 string, and then it's 2 notes on each string. And then it's basically the opposite of the first one. So 1 note. And the other part is like, how am I going to make sure that I'm actually isolating this? Because I can't help but notice that sometimes my wrist will creep into the technique and it will no longer be isolated with my pick. And if you're thinking, well, I don't care about all that, or maybe you're thinking, oh, that's fascinating and interesting, either way, you need to, if you're just starting to develop your wrist and have really solid picking technique with your right hand, you want to be conscious of whether or not you're isolating your wrist and keeping your elbow out of the equation. So yeah, these are important, and it's nice to look into that and be cognizant of it. But also, if I sit here with a metronome and I focus on just playing one string, and I say, okay, I'm gonna keep my fingers buried into the body of the guitar so that I know I'm not using my wrist, or if I am, it's as little as possible. And I work the metronome from 150 16th notes to 200 16th notes over the course of an hour. I'm gonna be better with this technique than I was when I started. That's for certain, okay? And so same thing if you're isolating from your elbow to now your wrist, you can use the same sort of idea and principle to put that in there. So I'm gonna do a couple examples now. I'm gonna try to play this technique the best. And what I'm noticing too is it's like, it's so typical, but like I get in my head, you know, I start mixing the techniques together, having a harder time with the technique that I know well, you know, and it's frustrating. But what I learned from mixing together economy picking and alternate picking is that the only way you can confront this issue is to go all the way through the technique. You have to not dabble in the technique and just learn it a little bit. You have to be able to play all your fast-paced licks or songs with the new technique, you know. And when you can do that, then typically you can alternate between the two fairly easily. But yeah, I got a long way ahead of me, but I just wanted to share this video because I think it's bringing back a lot of memories of the struggles that I had developing just alternate picking in the first place, and I think if it can help you with your journey, it will be beneficial. So anyway, lots more on that stuff in my free mini course, Alternate Picking Mastery. Like I said, you can click the link in the description, you can find it. And yeah, if you're also looking for something more through that link, you'll be able to check out the hand synchronization station, and that's my paid course where, yeah, I share. Well, I actually give you a training program to follow, and then you do that and get results. It's based off of one of my clients from my coaching, online coaching course program, premium guitar coaching. Yeah, one of my clients basically took one specific play along video and he hit it every single day, and it starts really slow, you know, like something like 100 beats per minute or 60 beats per minute, and quickly goes to 230 beats per minute. And so he just hit it every single day, like this 5-minute thing, and he ended up, you know, crushing it. Like he picks as fast as me, or faster, you know, and you know, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I just kind of share the little tidbits that we've talked about that have been helpful along the way, you know, if you're trying to develop that type of speed. But yeah, I'll see you on the inside. Peace.